Okay? You have to stop doing that. They're not looking at it like that. Some are, but some people are just like that in general because they have these huge egos to where they were criticized too much when they were kids about every doggone thing and every doggone detail. So they've learned to do nothing but criticize to make themselves feel better so that they don't feel as criticized as they do when they were coming up. Whoa, howdy. How do you do? How do you don't? Okay, so I am going to talk to you today about, once again, the thing that a lot of artists don't think that they have, and that is massive egos. So the problem that you're having when you hear the word ego, right? When you hear the word ego, you're thinking of, someone who is prideful and boastful. You're thinking about, for example, like a Donald Trump. You're thinking of some of these cocky athletes out here. You're thinking of, these super cringe Tate brothers thing. You're thinking about people like that. Oh man, these guys have these massive egos. Okay. Now here's the thing. Your ego essentially are your self-defense mechanisms. And they can manifest in all kinds of different ways, right? They can manifest in all kinds of different ways. So, for example, if I have a massive ego where I've been through some traumatic stuff or whatever, and I have a big wall, I have a big AT field, right? I have a big wall. And a tremendous wall you never seen before, the biggest wall, the best wall. But if I have this wall over who I am and what I want to do, then I don't want you to see any type of weakness in me. So I might walk around like I am the best thing ever known to every man ever, right? I might approach life that way because, again, the wall, the ego is that I don't want to be hurt. So I'm going to act as though I have no weaknesses whatsoever in order to come across a certain kind of way so I'm never hurt, right? That's a way that the ego activates itself in order to compensate and create a persona so that it doesn't get hurt in that particular entry point of hurt again. That's how egos work, okay? Now, you're talking about pride and, overconfidence and things like that. Okay, fair enough. But you, sir, madam, also, a lot of us have giant egos too. Right? Because again, it goes back into trauma. The quiet art kid who's more visual, which means he's more in his head, he or she's more in their head. And so they're thinking about these things and they're manifesting them, whether it be on canvas, whether it be in the studio, whether it be in a lot of different creative endeavors. And that gets us into the corner where we are entertained by ourselves and our parents leave us alone because it's like, they're drawing and they're having a good time. And it is true. And also, the imagination that we have and the things that we're drawing is becoming a great babysitter. So we don't have to, or they don't have to worry about us for the next hour or two, right? It's like, sold. I don't have to worry about my goofy kid for a while. Like, sold. Okay, let him draw away. But in that isolation begins to have this entry point of not being able to socialize as well as some of these other kids out here. I'm not saying this is across the board. I'm saying this is all, where all artists are a bunch of, quiet kids getting beat up on. But it does happen a lot. And it's interesting, too, the ones who are most sociable actually won't draw in front of a lot of people. Like, someone might have a great skill of art, and they draw to themselves by themselves. They don't do that because I think they see the quiet kid that's always drawing in public. They see that kid and they're like, that kid's getting kind of, the boots kicked to him. I'm not trying to do all that. They might equate art with being bullied. So just a weird thing that happens, right? So the social skills that are required to navigate life itself aren't as developed. And so it just retreats further and further in. And the ego gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until you say this goofy thing: I don't need anybody. Okay, when someone locks you up, the punishment is solitary confinement for the most egregious things. They just separate you from people. And do you know what happens when you separate from people? Nothing good. Nothing good. People lose their mind when they're not around enough people. Genuinely so. When you hear about some of the most egregious crimes out there, like, type of terroristic attacks, things like that. When you hear about things like that, usually they were isolated. They concocted that scheme in complete and total isolation, and it wasn't good. It was not good. So, and furthermore, you look like this. This is what you look like. You look like these memes. And look how dramatic they are, right? It's such a powerful feeling when you finally realize you don't need anyone else but yourself to survive. There we go. I know what I bring to the table. So trust me when I say I'm not afraid to eat alone. Ooh, yeah. I don't need anyone to hold me. I can hold my own. You know these cringe memes? I keep telling myself I don't need anyone. Reality is, no one needs me. That's more true. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to free you. Let's look at this Keanu one right here. I don't need people who don't need me. I mean, again, I'm not asking you not to evaluate specific relationships. I'm not asking you not to do that. I'm just saying that you are going to need people and going to need the social skills in order to communicate with enough people in order to make those art dreams happen. Because if you're trying to be a commercial artist, a contractor, or someone who draws for money commercially in order to take that money to then fund the thing that you really actually care about, you're going to need to develop some social skills. You need to talk to people. This is a big deal. Again, I'm a Christian. God came as the word, as the communication in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal. It's nothing to scoff at. So, in terms of all of this, right? In terms of these memes, this is just ego right here. This is just ego. You got hurt. You say you don't need anybody, but what I really want to go back to is that one quote that was saying, oh, here we go. I keep telling myself I don't need anyone. Reality is no one needs me. Okay. Now, that's not necessarily true either. But it's more leaning on the truth than some of this stuff right here, because this will cause catastrophically bad things to happen to you if you say that I don't need anybody. I stand alone. No, you don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? What you want to happen is you want to understand this, that no one is looking at you the way that you're looking at yourself, and you need to stop projecting that. You learn to look at things with a critical eye, because in your art, whether it be your music, whether it be your painting, whether it be drawing, illustration, whether it be whatever, I even consider it to be game development in art. I really do. Whatever you're doing, your critical eye gets you to think that people are looking at you and what you do as critically as you are. And you need to stop that projection. Right? You need to stop that projection, because they're not looking at it the same way and the same level that you are. Okay? You have to stop doing that. They're not looking at it like that. Some are, but some people are just like that in general, because they have these huge egos to where they were criticized too much when they were kids about every doggone thing and every doggone detail. So they've learned to do nothing but criticize to make themselves feel better, so that they don't feel as criticized as they do when they were coming up. So if I criticize you and say that, well, I think you're so hot, look at this bull crap that you did right here, then see what I'm saying? That is this reaction that people have also, where they want to criticize you so they can make themselves feel better for all the criticism that they endured and that they don't want to feel as vulnerable as they used to, so they just project that onto you. So some people are like that. Just understand it. A lot of this stuff is just understanding it. It's not about saying that this is awful and this is evil, because when you do that, you start having anticipatory anxiety when it comes to anticipating evil and this and that and trying to hide from it. It's like, no, just understand how people are. Just understand it. And how most people are when it comes to the arts and things like that. Unless you're making claims outside of what's true, people are not that critical. So, for example, if I say that I have the best artwork that's ever been pinned to page, that's a big claim. That's a big claim. And so anyone is going to be looking at it from what I claimed it to be and finding all the technical errors within it. So they're going to be going probably even higher than I am. And they're saying that, what are you talking about? This is wrong, this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong. Again, I'm putting myself in the realm of a Renaissance era painter. I'm putting myself in the realm of a Da Vinci. I'm putting myself in the realm of a Michelangelo. Like, those guys are just monsters, right? And there's other artists out there too, but I'm forgetting the names right now. Anyway, but there are a lot. We'll go ahead and go to it. We can go ahead and go to it. That'll be fun. Okay, yeah. I'm putting myself in these categories. If I say I'm the greatest, I'm the GOAT when it comes to painting and illustration. Well, this is specifically painting. I'm putting myself in this realm, okay? I am not in this realm. Oh, yeah. I am not in this realm. Nowhere close. But if I claim that I was, then now I'm comparing my work to these. And why would I do that? Now, my claim is that I am aggressively mid, if not on the lower tier of bad, right? None of my artwork is It's to me, it's It's very much But that claim is easier to deal with than trying to say I'm like the GOAT. That puts me into a different category. So sometimes this stuff is just really about claims and the claims that you're making. So if you don't want the kind of attention or that kind of super critical eye on you, don't make claims that's going to bring that kind of attention. Because there will be someone there to check you when you make those claims. What people are really looking for, they're just looking for you to show up to something. To make the proper claim saying that, hey, I'm doing this, I'm using these tools, and just meeting people at the claims that you're making. Nothing spectacular, just saying that, hey, here's a comic book, here's a music album that I have, here's a whatever, here's a project that I'm doing, and making sure that you're not doing the kind of marketing hype claim bull crap. That's all that you don't want to do that. You just want it to be exactly what it needs to be and have people support you, because they do want to support you. They do want to support you. Now, the thing is that the projection of your critical eye on a lot of things in life, most people don't have that. They don't have the eye for it to begin with. Like I said, as long as you're not really hyping yourself up in some kind of weird, terrible marketing scheme or whatever, then people are very supportive of what you do, especially some of your friends and family. Now, some of them are not going to be. Some of them are not going to be. Just understand that. Just understand that ahead of time. Some of the people that you are going to be this is my day one guy, are not going to support you. Because why? Because sometimes you got to test these relationships, because it's only when you get pressed or when you press a relationship is when that relationship actually is, the truth of that relationship comes out. It's during the testing, right? So you can have someone, again, we talk about claims. You can have someone that says that, oh, bruh, I got you no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do it. You can have that person that does that. And yet, when it goes down, when the thing goes down, nowhere to be found. And that's when people start getting frustrated. It's when you make claims that are not supported with evidence. That's just something that just bothers people. That's something that bothers people. So as long as you're not really doing that, you don't have anything to worry about. No one's really studying about you. Here's the reason why. It's like, I'm thinking all this stuff. I don't want them to see this and this about me. It's like, bro, nobody cares. So I want to circle back to this. Bro, nobody cares. Listen to me. Nobody cares. And the reason why no one cares is because the same reason why you don't care. You don't care about what someone is prattling on about. You got your own stuff to worry about. And because you're so visual and critical in terms of your eye, you keep on thinking that people are studying about you and paying attention to you the same way that you are. That's a projection. No, they're not. They don't care. They don't care. The people who bought my book, I trust that 0% of them probably read it. Why? Because a lot of that was my warm market. People that I knew. They just wanted to support me. Now, we need to expand out more to the cold market. And we have some of those customers also too. But people do care about you. People do like you. People do want to support you. And they're not going to not support you because you're not perfect. Because of something that you're projecting onto them. Are you that way with them? Well, I'm not going to support my homeboy until he gets that line art right. What? You would never say that. That's a dumb thing to say. So how come you keep on thinking that everyone else thinks that way? It's weird, isn't it? Understand this. People think a lot like you in terms of the things that they want and desire. People want support. People want love. People don't want to be hurt. That's really it. They want support, they want love, and they don't want to be hurt. That's everybody. If you can think about those things, treat people the way that you want to be treated, if you can just do that, you'll be a lot better off. Instead of getting yourself just tied up in knots in perpetuity, thinking that people are coming out the woodwork to beat up on you all the time. It's not like that. We're adults now. Now, you can barely tell that we're adults. But, there's not the unfiltered viciousness of who you are when you're a kid. So, that's just what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to talk to you about ego. Ego in claims, really. Just lower that stuff. Again, filter your relationships, filter those things properly. But don't do this thing where you're thinking that, hey, I don't have this big ego, and you're too embarrassed to draw a line and post anything. You're too embarrassed to do anything. Because you keep on thinking that everyone's going to criticize you all the time about all the things that you're criticizing yourself about all the time. Stop. Ego is completely out of control. Completely out of control. You need to go ahead and reconcile some things and reconcile some parts of you first, so you stop projecting all this poisonous stuff onto other people. It's not like that. Unless you're making claims that you like that. But most of us aren't going to do that. Believe in yourself to a certain degree. Right? But if you are going to make those claims, hey, you better back it up. There's a few people out there who made the claim and that forced them to back up their claims. You can play that game 100%. But if you're not willing to play that game, don't play it. That's all. That's all. All right. That's my time. I might do another video on ego, especially when it comes to artists. Because sweet God. I love y'all. I'll catch you in the remix. Deuces.